The Ukrainian war. What is truly happening? Well, what could be happening? The truth of what is happening? Putin has been planning this for several years, all the way back to the Obama administration. When he's like, if you want to see a dirty bomb, I could just go in there. They always have one reactor that's not open. He's threatened that forever. I can blow it out, and I won't even have anything that's considered against the Geneva Convention. It's so close. He's wanted Ukraine forever. The technology at Chernobyl and other stuff. Vacuum bombs used on citizens. I've already described what a vacuum bomb is. It's a chemical reaction. While it may explode and send canisters in all directions, it changes the air into carbon monoxide or dioxide. It goes through it. The greenery in the area just takes it down. This means that people who are trying to escape the old World War II ways through the mountains, as I've told some people to do in emails, if things come up, to always remember those areas. They will be gone. This is a war of replacing the citizenry and a war of complete everything. No different than whenever the Mussolinis came over into the United States and replaced whole towns. They go, it's a little town, it's a little this. Well, New York can't drink enough beer, nor can Boston, to support the federal government. California can't drink enough wine or produce it and just say we just pour it out so there'll be more magnesium and phosphorus when the alcohol goes and decomposes, or any of the other situations. Now, everything all considered here, I think one of the main reasons that the United States truly is letting this go is because so many of the small little towns would call for the military because of everything. They go, the Mussolinis are reduced to non-military people. The Mussolinis are just pure civilians. You all have the right under your own religion, your own self-life preservation, which is covered in the First Amendment throughout all of them, your rights to not be assembled into a colonial power or held underneath by them or anything else, to fight and kill them and to give birth to children that will be yours and not conquered or taken by them under the Second Amendment, and to be raised that they are not supposed to be part of that and that those aren't supposed to be there. If you are on a Native American reservation and you were caught ever having sex with a foreign national prostitute, wasn't certified by our allied government or something else, or else just a foreign national and everything else, you can be like their separate governments or everything else, they'll kill that person. You know, maybe they should try the same thing with people who do that. Of course, you know, in the 80s, they abandoned Knoxville because they said we fraternized with too many people. And there's people that were supposedly family members of mine that just ended up dead. And, you know, you can go and find them. They're very easy to look up. People brag about them and everything. And they're dead because they married or had relations and said, well, they're conquered people, they're dead, they're whatever. They don't exist. It's not a Native American tribe who lost a majority of its elders or all of them and its culturalistic center and everything else, and then was absorbed back into one of the tribes that have branched off from it through the process of Hiawathanism. I think that's truly what the United States is looking at here and saying that, look at the Ukrainians defending their land. Look at the civilians fighting against the Russians. And with him being a theocratic Christian country of the Orthodoxy, he is the first one there. A no-fly zone will just let him open up mass drivers, radio situations, because once you get rid of the commercial traffic or the possibility of it, Russian MiGs, the way that their system is made up only to go after anything that's airborne. They can attack drones, they can attack civilian aircraft, they can attack anything that has a communication signal on it or has its own electronics. Therefore, stealth doesn't really work with it because it can find the electronic background noise of it. It's not clean enough to get past a Soviet MiG in a dogfight. So if it's a no-fly zone, the only thing that's up there is what the USA would be sending in drones for surveillance, other people, and everything else. So it just locks onto everything and not saying that we couldn't get by it, not saying we couldn't have deterrents for it, not saying we wouldn't just naturally target their stuff on the second that it went up, and it's like back at the and that's it. Also, if it's a no-fly zone, they have taken Odessa, supposedly, the Port Authority area. So the only way to get goods in is in a narrow pocket in Romania. Right now, we're allowed to fly somewhere around Turkey or else land on an aircraft carrier and then fly over into Odessa. Therefore, we keep NATO separate. And I will say this. This is what I think Putin's thing is. I've already said in another video, he has already predetermined the next leadership in the time period of Obama, right before Trump. All the leadership after him will be there, and this is what Russia will do. They will systematically go across into all the other borders. They will systematically push all the way to Nicaea, simply because of its Eastern Orthodox situation. After it pushes so far in, if it says that it's not, and it's pushing towards Italy, it is just impossible for them not to take Nicaea. It's not part of Turkey. It would not violate their armistice and agreements with them. And once Nicaea is taken, Turkey will probably turn back towards Russia, which gives them the sixth most dangerous army on the planet because of its aircraft carriers, or powerful. After everything with that being said, if Putin really is going that this is part of communities, that this is his version of saying that the West is overrun with Nazis, letting them go and do everything. And I'll be honest, when I was in Ukraine, they were there everywhere, on the planes, on everything flying around me, standing there in Turkey and everything. And they were making it very well known as some of the, because, honestly, it's like they're happy to have gotten out. Nobody's really that happy speaking English or trying to speak some other language in a holding area for, passengers and cargo, so they don't get called part of Turkish customs and go through it. Nobody's that happy over in an area. Nobody's that fakey and trying to fake things that they're Jewish because they're going to a place with a dolphinarium off of the History Channel. Nobody's that happy to be working passports going through there and going, all I ever have to do is stamp stuff, and I got to come back to my country that I conquered. I got to come back and get my land. And it only cost me $1.75. Going on about how strong the USA currency was. Maybe that's why everybody's trying to make sure ours inflates beyond anything. It's like, a brown noser used to mean that they were always going through or else kissing somebody's shoes because of the shoe polish, as it's never really totally black. And then it meant that you had to have something of sexual nature with somebody that was homosexual or anal, and or else you just constantly sucked up to them and everything and always were in their business. And I'm just going, I don't care anymore. I mean, no one's really going to watch this, and I'll probably get more for like scratching my ear right then. But, all the Sonic situations, there's tons of people just trying to get away with any Sonic mosquito ring, weaponized thing, anything else. I mean, in a way, I'm pretty sure they're going to come back and say that the media companies are criminally responsible because they brainwashed everybody to say Russia and the others. And I think Putin seriously will march all the way to Liechtenstein. And this is the weird thing in a nutshell. If he marches to Liechtenstein with it, and see, he knows everybody's going to blame all the Sonic situations on us, and almost everything in NATO has to have a double jeopardy, and in a way, it's just Snowden at us. So everybody who's a hacker who wants to come at somebody is going to get a free pass because it's Russia or China. And it's not Russia or China, and they're not going to do an effective investigation. But the reason why they're going to go all the way to Liechtenstein, all those little parts of Liechtenstein are old, forgotten Eastern Orthodox kingdoms and principalities. They've scooted them all out of their countries, and they will redefine the borders and go in and reset up everything as soon as he can hit Liechtenstein. And as it was told to me by one of the infinities from down at the Masonic Lodge, which, they can kill them, they do all that sort of stuff and replace them with people, and they practice inbreeding for it, and replacement mimicry from birth for people, just in case they have to take over the Masonic Lodge. Everything you blame about Russia is really us. And they've said this before the Iron Curtain went down. Like they had replaced each and every single person. And they said the only thing you'll ever see of Boris Yeltsin is he will just be an idiot, mindless person singing and drinking away by a piano player, thinking that he's in Casablanca. And, I was like, Boris Yeltsin, Gorbachev, Nikolai, whichever one. They're all ours. Like they replaced them and put a little puppet in them, or an animatronic robot. But, that would mean people believe in cloning and stuff. And I just look at it and go, that's what his whole thing is. Even if they change leadership in Russia, even if anything else, it will inevitably move and has to go through Austria and then to open up Liechtenstein. And then when it opens it up, they will flood out, you may see a direct pullback of anything else. It's also one of the reasons why they moved Liechtenstein in the 80s from the west side of Austria. Granted, it's in the maps that were around here, to the east side next to Switzerland. So the Swiss Guard, the Swiss, could all keep them contained from Soviet Union areas. I'm not sure what else I can say or add to this. I mean, the Russian nuclear bomb at the area, while it is a Geneva Convention violation, I'm just saying he's threatened it before a couple of times. And this is the obvious truth. I'm not really sure how to look at it. And he would probably take Liechtenstein and remove the absorbed part, or the people from Tirano, and this one little southern part from Liechtenstein that was reabsorbed into Germany, and take them away because of whatever. But eventually they would get out and they would go and reestablish their borders of their countries and everything underneath the Third Mussolini Reich. When the Third Mussolini Reich is orthodox, and anything that is orthodox is supposed to be without any ability to not work for Mussolini. So they'll all say that I'm with that because I go to Greek Fest. Oh well. That must mean that when they saved my second cousin-in-law in the Holocaust with his family, it was something that would play into the hands of the Mussolini. But, and that means me, because they did come here and sack Knoxville in the 1980s, as well as Oak Ridge. Anyway, this is Colin Dawson with the Political Minute, Ukrainian war update, and my personal insights.